How have you realized your productivity was getting too toxic? To be honest, it's taken me a while to realize that my productivity got too toxic. Sometimes I try to pride myself on being a self-aware queen, but that's not always the case. When people would say that my productivity was toxic, I never really believed it because I genuinely thought like, oh, I'm just built different. And to a certain extent, I do believe that we are all built different. I think certain people can handle more levels of stress than others. Some people get more overwhelmed easily than others. However, I think I was just pushing it way too hard. And I really only realized my productivity was becoming toxic when it affected literally every single facet of my life. So physically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. So physically first, I noticed I would go through these cyclical patterns of extreme hard work and then extreme burnout. So what this looked like for me is I would work super hard for 6 months. By work super hard, I mean waking up early at like 4 to 5 a.m., going to sleep at like 8 p.m., doing hours of deep work, studying. I would do this for 6 months, and then for 2 weeks, I would just get insanely sick. I just like wouldn't be able to do anything. And then I would just repeat the cycle. And I realized, oh, this is actually becoming a pattern. My body is on this weird cycle. And then emotionally, I just felt like I couldn't really like open my heart to other people and trust them. And it was like productivity or like my work was really like my safe place. I think it's like kind of a workaholic tendency of, oh, I feel like others are gonna disappoint me, but my work never will. When I put more work into my business, it'll do better. That's something I can rely on. You know what I mean? And I was just finding all my worth in that. And then socially, again, with the not being able to really trust people, not being able to open up, I just found I like wasn't really able to relate to my classmates at school or just people that are my age because I wasn't fully open. Not everyone can relate to building a business when you're young, but everyone can relate to the feeling of feeling like you're chasing wind, feeling like you're not enough. And because I was never really open that, oh, I feel like I'm not enough, I feel like I need to keep on working to be enough, no one was ever really able to relate to me because I didn't talk about the core feelings. I just always talked about what was on the surface level. And then spiritually, I was just so far from God because I felt like I could earn money, you know, through my own hard work, that I could also earn God's love. So as a Christian, I feel like I wasn't able to fully just be humble and be like, God has had so much mercy for me, he's carried me all this way, and there's nothing I can do to be more to him. You know, I'm already enough. How do you feel about coming back to YouTube, like your audience is changing and stuff like that? So to answer the first question, I feel really refreshed coming back to YouTube. I feel like I'm just coming in with a new lens on productivity and a new lens on my life that I'm really just excited to share with you guys. And I don't really feel like my audience is changing that much, but it's more like I just want to show my existing audience this is a different side of me that I haven't actually shown before, and I want to show you guys what it looks like to be holistically productive. Productivity to me means to achieve a goal that you set out for yourself. So these goals can be in school, they can be in work, but they can also be in your relationships and in your spiritual life. So I just feel excited to come back with more of a full picture, what it means to be in a grind season and also what it means to kind of be in a more chill season. How are you planning on still staying productive even with your new mindset? This is a really good question, and I wrote this down in my journal a few days ago. Is productivity is your greatest gift until it becomes your greatest enemy. So I think there's kind of a spectrum to productivity. You can be maybe like lazy, unmotivated, right? And then there's like the workaholic side of the spectrum. So I feel like productivity is still really important to me, giving me so many great opportunities. I'm so grateful for productivity. That's why I'm not gonna stop making productivity content. But I definitely say I was just like so extreme on the side of the spectrum, just like robotic, you know? So for me, it's more just about understanding what season I'm in. So I think there are gonna be some seasons where like this is like middle line productivity, where I'm like here, like in the grind season, like I am time blocking every 5 minutes. But kind of similar to what I told you guys about the 6-month cycle of working really hard and then 2 weeks of just being really sick, I'm going to start listening to my body when I need to shift gears, need to shift seasons. So right now, I would say for the last 6 weeks, I've really just had like a harvest season of enjoying my pace of life, slowing down. But right now, I'm starting to feel more of an itch to start speeding up again. So I'm slowly adding more into my schedule. I'm slowly starting to time block again. So this is what it looks like for me to be healthily productive. So for me, staying productive even with a new mindset is knowing when to switch gears and switch seasons, which if you guys want to learn a lot more about that, I'm going to be creating a ton of more content about kind of the different seasons and stuff, but I also teach about it in my coaching program, which I'll tell you guys a little bit more about later. Have you thought about college, location, major, etc.? I have thought about college a lot these past 2 years, and I like being fully transparent with you guys about like what I'm planning, but I do want some more time to like be private about it because I just want to make sure that I'm actually following through with what I say that I'm going to do and update you guys as I'm further along in the process with college. But I'm going to share my current college philosophy. I'm not going to do anything in high school with the motivation of doing it for college. And if that means I can't get into any prestigious schools, then we're just not a good fit. You could say not everyone has the luxury to have that mindset, but honestly, I think it's a choice. I think sometimes we think that we need to go to such a great college to get a certain income level to whatever. I just don't really believe in that anymore, and I'm just too exhausted to explain myself on this topic. As I say in like for other questions, I am going to film some more videos about this, so just stay tuned. What is your main goal in life? What do you want to achieve? It's quite a deep question, but I love deep questions so much. Honestly, whenever I have conversations with people, it can get quite deep, so I'm trying to learn how to have like more small talk. So my main goal in life, my current mission is to turn 100 million teenage girls into leaders, but I'm very open with kind of God changing this as I go along in my journey. I feel I'm slowly revealing more of my calling to me. Honestly, I would love to be more involved in like church and ministry. Recently, I realized I'm actually really passionate about counseling people, about doing one-on-one counseling, hearing more about other people's problems, and like just being a coach to others and helping them come to some conclusions just through asking the right questions. So I would love to like be really involved in the church now and in the future, but also I just love entrepreneurship. Like I can't really ever see myself working a traditional corporate job. Yeah, I just don't really think that's what God has in store for me. I think what would be really cool is for maybe a few months of the year after high school, kind of living a digital nomad lifestyle where let's say I'm in the Dominican Republic just doing my work on my laptop, and then on my off hours I go serve in the missions field. So like doing missionary work, because I realized as an influencer I actually have a great gift that my work is online, so I can go anywhere in the world. I can learn Spanish and share the gospel with people. And yeah, I'm like, wait, I gotta take advantage of remote work. Do you have mental health struggles? I want to be as productive as you, but I have no motivation because of depression. So maybe tips on how to still get things done on bad days. I personally have no like diagnosed mental health issues. There definitely are like deep core beliefs that I have that I'm trying to debunk and work on, because I've realized that something that self-improvement gets wrong a lot is we're always trying to focus on our thoughts, behaviors, habits, change those things, but you'll never truly be able to change these cycles in your life when we don't attack our actual mental health, the things that we believe about ourselves. So even like when I coach girls, especially in my coaching program, high performance student, honestly, when they get on a coaching call with me, like they plan to like ask about how to structure their morning routine and stuff, and then we just end up talking about their relationship with their parents, because I've realized that even in productivity, even in life coaching or whatever, like everything does come down to your mental health. Like literally, it's like therapy, you know? Like I don't think you can really be productive unless you're taking care of your mental health. I would say for you, honestly, like I can link down below some resources that I really like for mental health, but like I don't even want to give you like advice on productivity when you're in this mental health state, because I think it's so important to just strip away the to-do list and first focus on your mental health, and then when you're in a better state to like, you know, add on some productivity tactics. What started your self-development journey? We've seen the highs and lows, but you haven't really talked about the start. So I started my self-development journey during COVID, and I think part of it was just I felt bored, and also at this time I feel like I just wasn't really connecting relationally with my friend group. I was just starting to feel like I didn't belong as much, and then productivity kind of began something that I was just really interested in, and I was already like doing my YouTube channel back then, so I was like anything to make me more effective in creating videos, like that's super cool. So I think in the beginning was really just like I love this new momentum, and I think it can feel really satisfying to kind of start a new routine. So yeah, that's how I started my self-development journey. Where are you right now with your faith? I'm feeling really good with my faith. I recently went on a missions trip to the Dominican Republic, and it definitely helped me reconnect with God and kind of learn more about who I am in Him, because for a while, you know, I've been like pretty dedicated to my faith, but I think it was always about my performance, always about like how much can I read my Bible, like what good Christian am I, or like it was always about me. I've really had to realize recently that when I focus on my own performance, all I really will feel is guilty and condemned, but if I focus on how good God is, then I just truly feel loved. And like, yeah, I just don't even know how to describe it to you guys. I just feel so different in my faith now, because it's just no longer about like, you know, how consistent I am and what my habit tracker for reading the Bible looks like, you know what I mean? How did you deal with the moments where you felt like you wanted a boyfriend? Basically, what do you do in order to feel like you're not missing out because you're not dating? Ooh, this is a really good question. It's really weird, because to be honest, you guys, I feel like as I've been focusing more on relationships in my life, like I think that I would like learn and grow a lot from being in a romantic relationship, but I think I've been learning recently, a lot of times I think I know what I need, but it's not actually what I need. So right now I'm really just focusing on my friendships. So I would say for you, if you feel like the need to be in a relationship right now, really focus on your friendships. And yeah, focus on self-love, but I feel like people don't emphasize friendships enough. I've just found sometimes there have been times where I like a boy and I'm just thinking about him all day, but then I go out to hang out with my friends, or I have a coaching call with a girl and I'm so fulfilled by it, and I realize, wait, like I don't even feel lonely anymore. So I would definitely say just like invest in your friendships. Also, you don't want to go into a relationship being so deficient in your friendships, so just focus on your relationships with your friends like a lot, and also your self-love. But I just feel like everyone talks about self-love, so I just want to talk about friendships. Are friends not being ambitious a deal breaker for you? I love having online friends, but I feel like the in-person ones is important too. How do you reconcile them not getting your fire for success? This is such a good question. I feel like this is something that I've grown in a lot recently, of just kind of realizing it's good to have friends that can really help me with business, but it's also really good to have friends that I can just like laugh with and just not think about anything with. Recently, I haven't really been making the effort to find a lot of new internet friends because I genuinely want to feel more rooted in my home community, which is really weird because I've always kind of been the person that's like, I want my independence, I want to travel the world, I want to XYZ, I want to have friends in LA, I want to have friends in New York City, but I've realized that everything I truly need is right where I am. Like, I was watching All American, guys. I find self-development lessons when I watch Netflix shows. I think watching Netflix is productive. But I was watching All American and I realized like this high school friend group kind of stayed together after high school. I mean, some of them went to different colleges, but they still like hang out really often. And I feel like I used to think that was weird, like to like stay really close to your home community after college. I always felt like, oh, I want to move away and stuff. But then I realized it's so nice to have a community that knows you intimately. They know what you struggled with in high school. They know what you were like in middle school. Like, there's something so like sweet about that. And having a friend group that feels like family, that is just so important. Yeah, I would just say like that's not really a deal breaker for me anymore, especially because I already know I'm kind of on the more workaholic side of the spectrum. So it is really helpful for me to have friends that maybe are on this side of the productivity spectrum to kind of bring me back to my center. But I still really appreciate my entrepreneurial friends and I keep in contact with them too. What do you like to do for fun? So I really hope this does not make me sound like a productivity nerd, but I genuinely love making like Notion pages and productivity systems for fun. Also learning languages. Recently I've really been strengthening my Mandarin, Chinese, and also working on Spanish because again, as I've been realizing, you know, in the future I could really work in missions. I could go back to the Dominican Republic. I went this summer and it's really been motivating me to get better at my Spanish so I can communicate with the people in the Dominican Republic a lot better. I really like working out, watching All American. Editing YouTube videos. I actually really do like editing. Listening to music. I feel like all these things are so basic. Honestly, on my self-development journey, I'm still trying to find my hobbies. For your high performance student program, how much is it and how do we join? So the high performance student program is a 6-week coaching program that I created to help you guys get 20 hours back in your week as high school students while maintaining a high GPA. And honestly, I just recommend clicking the link in the description to learn more about it because all the details are on there. But I'm just so excited for this next cohort. It's like back to school cohort for early September because we're gonna be talking about all about what do you do in your grind season, how do you know you need to shift into like a harvest season, and how do you go about that. And the next question was, how has self-improvement changed your life for the better? Definitely just self-awareness. Oh my goodness. Like again, this is why I really appreciate productivity. I'm not gonna hate on productivities because productivity, self-improvement has given me connections in my life I never would have had. When you're into your self-improvement and productivity, people notice that and people will be drawn to that and attracted to that. So there are older mentors in my life that probably wouldn't have given me the time of day if I wasn't working on myself and putting in that work when other people aren't seeing and like behind the scenes. And lastly, any books you recommend to help with self-love and self-improvement? With self-love, I know this is gonna sound like so spiritual or whatever, I just pray about it. Like there haven't been a ton of books that have like really helped me with self-love. Like I think that's something that I couldn't really just read about, I had to experience. But for self-improvement, click the link in the description because I have like a book recommendation list, so you can just find those all there. I love you guys so much and I'll see you in the next video.